Pursuant to Internal Revenue Service guidance, be advised that any federal tax advice contained in this program is not intended to be used, and it cannot be used by any person or entity for the purpose of avoiding any tax penalties that may be imposed by the Internal Revenue Service or any other U.S. federal taxing authority or agency, or promoting, marketing, or recommending to another party any transaction or matter addressed in this show. The opinions expressed by the host and the guests are their own and may not be used as authoritative advice. Any use of this material without the written consent of the host is strictly prohibited.
Welcome back. I am your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy, and this is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560, The Answer. And I want to mention our sponsors again because they're paying for this microphone, and that's Opem Tax Resolution and the Law Office of Stephen A. Leahy, PC.
God bless them.
And go to chicagotaxteam.com. Lots of answers there if you have any financial problems. What are we going to talk about now,
Well,
George?
Steve, I believe this is the section, the segment that we go to for your blog. So what is on the blog entry this week? And this is Jim Leahy, non-attorney.
Attorney spokesman, not attorney spokesman.
That's a non-attorney spokesman. I heard that yesterday.
I know a lot of them. I am a non-attorney spokesman, but I am an attorney, and I have a blog that I add to every week. I put another chapter, I should say, because in the end, this is all I'm going to make a book of all this because
this is for posterity.
This is for posterity. That's correct. Okay, so last week we were talking. Remember, the blog is at chicagotaxteam.com, and you can go to the blog and read what I wrote last week, and also the segments of the show of our blog post are called the V Blog, and those are on the website also under the IRS Radio Hour banner. So if you go to the IRS Radio Hour banner, and you'll see all the videos of the segments of the show.
Not only the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is also have video.
We do have video.
And you can see behind the scenes, what's happening.
That's right. And I want to thank Jessica, Jim's daughter. Jessica is our editor, and she edits all the videos for us.
From Columbia College.
That's right. So she's very helpful.
I wish I would make it cheaper to go to Columbia College.
Love that girl. Love that girl. And now she'll hear it on the show. Okay, so we've been talking the last several weeks about the Illinois mortgage foreclosure law and how that all works. So first we talked about what a mortgage is and how they all work, and then we talked about the complexity, how they get bought and sold, and how there's so many parties involved. And then we talked about different ways to defend yourself in a foreclosure. One was litigation. Remember, litigation, bring motion after motion after motion. This could be very expensive. Maybe, and I brought up another maybe better way, which is discovery, because it's so complex. Sometimes we can buy the time you need simply by asking for the documents from the mortgage companies. And they don't always have them, and that might buy us the time. And what is the purpose of the time? Why are we trying to buy time? That's what we're going to talk about this week. Okay, the purpose generally is because of loan modifications. The way to save your home outside of Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and we'll talk about that next week, is loan modifications. That's what most people are looking for. They're looking to change the terms of their mortgage, the current mortgage. So remember, a mortgage modification is not a refinance. So I'm not getting a new loan. I'm simply changing some of the terms of the old loan. So under the Illinois mortgage foreclosure law, the mortgage company can sell my home at auction after a redemption period. The redemption period is set in the law, and the first redemption period is 7 months from the date all the parties, defendants, get served. Okay, so this is what happens. They come out and they give you, maybe the sheriff comes out, or maybe what they call a special process server will appear at your home, and they'll give you a copy of the complaint. Once you get that copy of the complaint, then the clock starts ticking, and you have 7 months from that date. Or, and this is another part of the Illinois mortgage foreclosure law, or 3 months from the date of judgment, whichever date is longest. Okay, so the strategy goes to push that date out as far as you can. What most people do is they get served and they start calling their mortgage company, and they rely on their mortgage company to help them in a loan modification.
Why is that wrong, Steve? Because the mortgage company.
The mortgage company's the one that's suing you. They're the one that wants it. They're trying to take away your house, and they know what the rules are, and they know that the clock is ticking. And if they can kind of delay and make you think that something's going to happen, such as a loan modification, that you won't pay attention to the foreclosure action in court, and you'll ignore it. And that's what they want you to do. They want you to ignore it. Very few foreclosure actions are defended in court. So many people just kind of throw up their hands and say, well, I guess I'm behind on my mortgage. They're going to take my house. Don't accept that. Fight, fight, fight. I always tell people, as long as you're in the house, anything can happen, but you got to try to make it happen. It won't happen by itself. Okay, so this is called the redemption period. Again, it's 7 months from the date you get served or 3 months from the date of judgment, whichever is longest. And so we talked about trying to lengthen that judgment date the last several weeks. So now we're going to talk about loan modifications. Okay, loan modifications can take a long time. As I just mentioned, what happens is the mortgage company is going to start working with you, and they're trying to get to that they're trying to get a judgment against you and then have the sale date. And maybe right at the last minute, they're going to tell you, oh, sorry. At first, they're going to ask you for a whole train load of documents. And you're going to have to give it to them, and they're going to tell you they didn't get them, and you're going to send them again, and they're going to say, we didn't get everything, and then you're going to send it again, and then they're going to say, oh, these are outdated, we're going to have them again, and then they're going to review them, and this is going to take many months, usually. And then at the end, they're going to say, sorry, you don't qualify. And people would say, I just fought all of that, and now they're going to say no. And I was liken it to some insurance companies. There are some insurance companies out there that no matter what your claim is, whether it's a rightful claim or a wrongful claim, they're going to deny it. Because if they deny it, certain people that they would otherwise have to pay are going to say, well, I guess I just don't get the money, and they'll go away. Only the people who are persistent are going to get that insurance. The same thing here. They're gonna bring you through the ringer. You're gonna give all these documents. You're gonna get very frustrated, and then they're gonna say no, and you're gonna throw your hands up and say, I guess I'm not gonna get it. And because you haven't gone to court or haven't paid someone to go to court for you and help you lengthen that time, because I don't think you can lengthen the time yourself. People think that they can, but they don't understand how to go about the court process in order to buy themselves the time that they need. Okay, so in Cook County here, there's also a mediation program, and that can help lengthen the time. Also gets the mortgage company to come to the table and negotiate with you. They're supposed to send someone who has the authority to say yes or no in a negotiation. So you sit down at a table, and the mortgage company is there, their lawyers, they're usually on the phone, whoever their official is, and then you sit there with your lawyer and a mediator, and the mediator's job is to try to bring parties together. We want to come together. Mm-hmm. And
problem is there's two attorneys in the room.
Well, that's true too. And so so that's a good thing in Cook County that they have this mediation program. But you have to know how to get yourself to get into the mediation program, and it's not as simple as just asking, hey, can I get in the mediation program? That's not how it works. Again, that's why you need help.
You have to be in a secret club called the Lawyers Club.
That's right. Well, it is a secret club, and you have to go to law school to become a lawyer. Okay,
and they write the laws.
They do write the laws. But that's, again, I don't want to come down on lawyers. I happen to like lawyers, and lawyers help you, the right lawyers. Now, remember the lawyers on your mortgage company side,
they don't help.
They're not going to help you. They're on the other side, and they're trying to take your house away from you. So again, get help. Okay, so the strategy is knock that date out as long as you can and try to get a loan modification. Try once, they're going to be denied. Try again. Try a third time. I've seen people try 4, 5, 6 times before they get a loan modification. Okay, so it's not an automatic thing. You have to keep trying.
But it saves their house.
In the end, you want to save your home. And then now what happens if you can't get a loan modification? Well, that's something we're going to talk about later also in the weeks ahead. We're going to talk about, well, what happens because we talked about here in Illinois that we are a recourse state, and that the mortgage company, if I fail to pay and they get a judgment against me, can come after me for the difference between what I owe and what they sell it for. And now it's a big number. That's a big number usually. And we'll talk about different ways to protect you from that deficiency, because there are ways to do it. But first, you want to try to get a loan modification, and that means try. And if they say no, don't take no for an answer. Keep trying Keep trying. And then you'll get if you get a loan modification, and I don't have time now because I wanted to talk about what exactly is modified in the loan modification. But suffice it to say, they generally will.
Is it covered in the blog?
It is, and the article does cover this, and it talks about the different aspects and different ways to get that modified.
So how would somebody get in touch with you, Steve?
So you can call me at 312. If you're in foreclosure now, call me, 312-664-6649. Go to the blog at chicagotaxteam.com.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.